At the interest stage, we constantly want to be looking for urgency. Urgency means that this is a priority, that it's something that we do now versus a year from now or whenever we get to it. And they're naturally going to want to delay it. So we have to build up that interest to the point where it's urgent. Urgent to take action, urgent to make a commitment, a date, an action, something that's tangible, not I just want to think about it. It's okay to think about it, but if you think about it for 2 weeks, can we have another conversation? Would that make sense? Are you interested enough? Where does this fit compared to all the other things that you've got going? What's the impact of you delaying this? Who else is going to be affected if a year from now? All of this stuff to get urgency, because without urgency, there's no momentum. It's basically education, free consulting without urgency. And the test of urgency is a commitment, a time frame. It doesn't have to be tomorrow, but it does have to be within a month. Anything outside a month, get back to me in 3 months, that's not urgency. That's information, that's stay in touch. If you're getting that, you don't have enough interest. So don't leave interest until you sense urgency. So urgency can kind of be this last stage of interest to build it up enough for a commitment, a date, and a time committed to on the calendar. We get too comfortable with, send me some stuff. Let me talk to my manager. I'll get back to you about that. That's not a commitment. That's a continuation. That's a misdirection. That's a lie. That's a delay. That's I'm telling you what you want to hear, so you'll go away and I can go back to my job. If you're not getting this, stay at interest. Build that up enough. And if you're not getting this, then even getting that, you know what you have. Either you have the wrong person, there isn't enough of a match, you don't have enough information, you didn't polish your questions deep enough. And it's okay if they just want to, think about it, but that is not a deal. That is a lead, that's a back burner issue. What you want to do is have some kind of commitment, even if it is, I just want to think about it, run it by my manager. With a date, that's okay. A date that's less than a month. Anything more than a month, and it's just a continuation. And know what that is, judge it for what it is, and either find somebody else there or stay in the interest stage. Now, you don't want to pester them, because if they're not a match, I always use I'm kind of confused. It seemed like this is a match. Or what am I not understanding? Can you tell me more about what you're up against? Stay at that stage, because that'll give you the ammo to come up with better questions. Instead of trying to rush for urgency, you want to sense urgency. You want them to bring it up. You want them to initiate it. If you're not, then you need to dig deeper. So this is something you want to sense. How much is every day of delay costing you? This is kind of an interest-building question, but it puts into a time frame. How will a delay be viewed? How will you feel a year from now? What else will be affected by this delay? What they're thinking about is, when do I need to worry about this, and what do I have to do? What you want to do is lead them to the next stage. Have 3 alternatives and get the one that's kind of the most realistic of stretches. Don't go for the home run and don't go for the bunt. Go for something that you think you can get, and it's kind of a little bit of a stretch so that you can back off onto that to the bunt and get a date. This is the classic follow-up. Deals die, momentum is gone, because without the date, there's no momentum. You're relying on them to do everything. It's tough. I get it. It's the number one thing that most people forget, including me. I'm like, why didn't I get a date? There's no urgency. And you end up chasing them. They get other shiny objects get in front of them. Life happens. We're trying to make something unnatural happen. So without that date, you just don't have it. So align with them and just say, hey, both of our schedules are busy. If we don't get it on the calendar, it's going to slip and the impact is not going to be pretty. And neither of us want that. Even if I always used 2 weeks, because typically everyone's week is booked and like half of their next week is booked. But in 2 weeks, they usually have openings. Use the same time, because typically the same time will work again. Even if it's just a 15-minute call, just do that and just get it on the calendar, get it accepted. That way they have to cancel it. And if they cancel it, that's a huge signal. And if they don't show, it's a huge signal. These are acid tests to tell you if there's a real deal there or not. And if there isn't a real deal, you don't want to waste your time on it. So think about how you will handle this. How do you get commitment? What questions do you have? What works for you and your market and your customers? Pick the time and the date, and if you can, immediately send a calendar request. I'm going to send it right now. Please accept it today by the end of the day so I can hold that time for you. And that'll be an asset. If they don't accept it, you know where you stand, and that'll be a problem. So you got to really get that commitment.